turning on my chat. And kind of adjust things just a bit here. I will apologize in advance. My birds are in a mood. That happens sometimes. But we're going to do another book, another page in this one, which still, can we just take a moment for that incredibly sparkly book. I think that's probably one of my favorite features on this one. Let's see. I'm not really looking for anything that's going to be too complicated today. I may have to go deal with my birds here for just a second, because they have decided that they need to tell us all about all of their opinions. I do like him. He just has a fantastic grumpy face. I think we did a dragon last time, so we're not going to do that one. That is still just stunning. And that is the cover. I keep balking on this one just because I don't know that I can do it better than the super sparkly cover. But let's see. Let's see. We will come across one that's going to jump out at me. It's going to happen. Hi, Bubba's. And that was me saying hello to the dog, which just came in from going outside. Gotta stop and pet the dog. It's just a must-do. Hi, Bubba's. And in case you were wondering, this is the dog in question, who apparently does not want to be on screen. Let's see, who do we want to do? I do love that. Let's see here. That's kind of adorable. I think I'm going to go way back to the front here and do the guy that keeps catching my attention, but I keep passing by. Too far. There we go. We're going to do this guy. Hello, how are we doing today? And I think what we're going to do is we're going to start with a light color for his fur. Hello, hello. We're going to start with a light color and come in and just add a ton of different shading. And I think we're going to do this in some kind of gem tone, since it's, or jewel tone, since it does look like he's got a gem of some sort embedded in his head. Maybe I pull out one of my gel pens type of deal, just to give it that extra spark and shimmer. And this will probably be my last live for this week, just because I do actually have to figure out how to get to work for a couple of days. Only one day last week kind of hurt me a little bit there. I am not monetized, so I do actually need the job to have the monies. I do actually love this tone for him. I may go back with it and just add a little bit of darker tones this way. There we go. I do wish I could draw, like, personally, because there are definitely a few things on stuff like this that I would modify just a little bit. But that is not my skill set. I can color, I can paint, I can sculpt badly, but I cannot draw. Not well, at least. Stick figures are pretty easy. If I have lined paper, I can do a pretty mean cube. And I am paying the price for, I forgot to take my sweatshirt off and I'm sitting in front of the heater. So I'm going to sit here and cook just slightly, but that's all right. It's better than being cold, I guess. I missed a bicep there, didn't I? And I am skipping over all of his cloth pieces just because I am going to make them in a different color to kind of stand out a little bit against the fur. You know, I feel like if I was a creature with a gemstone stuck in my head, I would probably be a little creative about what colors I wore. I've not decided what color we're going to make his claws, which is why all of them have also gotten skipped over. And a little bit of fur showing under there. Not sure if that's fur or cloth, but we're going to color it as fur and just call it a day. There we go. So we got the first tone down. Now, I promise I'm not nuts. I'm just trying to kind of stay in the same family, just slightly darker. So I want to go through and just kind of add some depth here and there. We're not going to do crazy full, but just, well, apparently break my pencil. I haven't had this happen outright in a video in a hot minute, so I guess we were due for that. I also forgot once again to empty my pencil sharpener. Which I may have to get up and do if this doesn't want to. I don't draw, I color. And I've already started on this picture, so I'm not going to stop and start a new one. I am going to hop up just for a second and empty my pencil sharpener. There we go. Yeah. Pretty much if you want to have a say in what I pick to color, you got to pop up as early as possible while I'm still hemming and hawing over which picture to do. Though I don't think there's a lot of Faye in this one. This is kind of everybody else, which is nice. I do actually have a lot of books with various types in it. Well, me and this pencil are about to fight. I think. Yeah, this is one of my new ones. It should not be giving me this hard of a time. Aha. I don't know if you can see it, but there's actually a little piece stuck in there. There we go. That was the problem. It came to a tip, but the tip broke off, and then it was preventing any others from forming. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. And this is why I'm really careful about buying cheaper types of things, because sometimes you get what you pay for. This is a brand new pencil that just refuses to come to a point. Oh, we're almost there. And it broke again. I give. We're going to use a different color, because that one doesn't want to cooperate. Hello, how we doing today? I am fighting with cheap colored pencils. So I'm going to just go back over the spots that I already did. Add a little bit more so that it ties into this color. Since that one decided it doesn't want to work. I've actually been looking forward to doing this guy. I've kind of thought about stopping and doing him and passed him over a few times now. I don't know, he just suits my mood today. And one of my air stones in one of my aquariums is just slightly off kilter, and the buzzing is going to drive me bonkers. And that is one of those rare moments of, I am actually diagnosed with OCD, and there are just little things that are really, really hard to just kind of deal with. But I know which one it is, and I know what needs done, so as soon as we finish up, I will go fix it. That one gets off kilter on a regular basis on me. It is actually the pump to the sponge filter on my crab tank. I don't know why that one will not stay where I put it. It just must move itself. Thank you for that, Clover. I wish I could claim the artwork. I cannot, but I can definitely claim the coloring. The little bit that's been done already. A lot of times I will color in grayscale books where this type of stuff is already done. Just adding shading in and stuff like that. Today I actually looked through my grayscale books and didn't see anything that was catching my eye. So I decided to come back to this one. And you can kind of see the difference in the shaded areas versus the un. It's a little bit time consuming, but it's worth the little bit of extra time. To just take that couple of extra strokes and add a little bit of extra color. It's kind of funny. I can't come up with the pictures and draw them, but I can trace them really, really well. Everybody has their individual talents, and I can paint fairly well. I can create things from basically garbage pretty easily, but this is the extent of my pencil skills, which honestly I'm not complaining. And I do apologize. I do have to just hop up and go fix that pump because it's going to drive me bonkers. There's something about that just vibration noise that will drive me a little crazy. I don't know what the thing on the head is. This is not my personal artwork. It is a coloring book. I am treating it as a gemstone, so we will do that. We'll do something with that later on. But I am assuming it is some sort of gemstone and running with that theory. I feel much better now that I've gotten that to stop buzzing in my ear. Having OCD and really, really good hearing, when certain sounds are a pretty major trigger, is super fun. I tend to just laugh it off most of the time because there's no reason to really let myself stress too hard. If it's in my power to fix the thing that's annoying me, I will. There are times I have to just remove myself from situations. But today it was something I could fix. So we'll call that a win. I'm not going as crazy on the feet, because a lot of times the feet are not quite the same color as everything else. They're just a little bit different. Oh, I missed his tail. I think that's supposed to be his tail. I'd assume so. Either that or it's a really weird looking bush right behind him. We're going to call it his tail, though, because that's what it looks like to me. And just come in and... All right, we have fur. And then I'm going to take my nice, pretty bright green here. And I'm not too worried about overdoing the color, because I can come back with my black and darken the pupil back up pretty easily. And if I could grab a pencil that is actually black, that would help. I grabbed a very dark brown and 2 grays so far, aiming for a black. There we go. That's what I was looking for. That helped. Welcome back, welcome back. And since I've got my black in my hand, we're going to just darken up a few spots. There we go. Now, let's see. Thank you, thank you. This one actually came from an aquarium in New Jersey, believe it or not. I don't usually buy, like, touristy type stuff like that, but I really just fell in love with this cup because it is really pretty all the way around. There's just so much going on there that I felt like it was worth it. It was a very fun day. So I finally decided on what color clothing he's wearing. And we are going to be intentionally inconsistent in the tone, simply because his clothes look a little bit tattered and torn, and they'd be a little bit worn out. So it might have been a nice bright color at one point in time, but now they're a little worn, a little faded in spots. I got this book from Walmart. This one I did pay a little bit more than I normally would for something like this. But honestly, just the cover alone makes it worth it to me. Because that's what caught my attention, actually, about this one. I am a softie for sparkly things. It's just part of who I am. Now, I did kind of make the decision that this piece back here is going to be a different color. Because it kind of almost looks like a brace. Like maybe he's hurt his leg or something and it's supporting it. Or maybe a guard of some sort. There we go. I've not used that phrase quite as heavily today as I usually do. Excuse me. I think I'm going to take that brown that I was using before. We're going to go in quite a bit darker with it. A bit more pressure makes a very big difference in the color. There we go. I think we're going to do the same with this piece here because I feel like it's maybe the same kind of theory. Well, have a great night and sleep well. I am going to take the same blue and just lightly color in this piece. I am going to come back later with one of my gel pens that is shiny. And we're also going to match that to some, but not all, of the beads on his necklace. I was not paying attention to how that was going to work out, so got to keep it reasonable. There we go. Now we're starting to get some color going. I need a completely different brown. I think this will do. Let me come back and add them a couple of strips of that same blue here. This will obviously be a metallic. And this one actually looks to have a little bit of fabric hanging off of it. There we go. Not sure why I did that. There we go. There we go. Now we got her. Making some sort of sense here. Can't have a spear without a tip, now can we? just realized we missed his other leg, didn't we? And somehow or another, 30 minutes has slipped by me. Does not feel like I've been going for a half an hour already. There we go. I fixed it. Come in with this. He just does not strike me as one who would be wearing gold, so silver it is. And you are hearing my cockatiels throwing a fit now because the conures have decided to be quiet. Happens occasionally. I think I'm going to have a little bit of fun. Just modify the tone a little bit. Just on these guys. I kind of like that. I'm kind of glad I decided to do that. Don't know what made me decide to do that, but this is one of my favorite things to do. Not everywhere and not all the time. Just adding a little bit of metallic to something that's supposed to be hair or fur, especially when it's a shimmery one like this. It just adds a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. I don't know if it'll change much on your end, but I can see it on my end, which makes me happy. So that counts for something, right? Just gives him a little teeny tiny little bit of extra depth. And now I need, not you. Why is it every single time I can find everything except the one I'm looking for? I am just pulling markers, pens, whatever you want to call these things, out of my way to try and find the one I want. The one I want is, as always, hiding. There he is. That's what I was looking for. Just have to be very careful not to put my hand in that. We're not going to outline. We're not going to do all of the ones on his necklace, but I think we're going to make this one match. Once that dries, you'll be able to see a little bit better. It is a very shimmery glitter gel pen that I used, which I'm a fan of. I like things like that. I could add to his eyes. I think I'm going to leave his eyes alone. We do need to give him some kind of coloring on his claws, though, don't we? We're going to come in with just a dark gray. And we're not going to go hard, just a little bit. to give him some kind of tone. Now we've got that done, we can start on some of the things in the background, like, for example, this little cabin, which needs to be yet another shade of brown. We don't want him blending into the background now, do we? We're just going to go light on the roof. There we go. We have the first part of the background done. So I'm going to grab my gray back up, or a gray back up, and just come behind him here. Might have to add color, add a deeper gray to that as well, because that is not showing up at all, is it? I just had a really good dark gray in my hand. There it is. Well, that's a bit better. I do apologize. I know I'm kind of all over the place. I very nearly canceled today and decided that's not fair to people who actually come in on any kind of basis. So I decided not to do that. We don't need a crazy lot of detail on stuff like that in the background there. Let's get some green going. Brighten things up quite a bit, won't it? I love doing the colors that just add life. There we go. Let's go ahead and do this guy over here while we're at it. And then we'll drop the pencil because my hand works. I swear it does. There we go. Kind of interesting looking little trees, aren't they? Not sure what kind they're supposed to be. I'd say some kind of spruce, maybe? Evergreen of some sort or another. Does give kind of a neat effect though, doesn't it? There we go. Not doing this for the whole thing, just kind of knocking that little section out a little bit. There we go. Put him done. And we're going to switch out for a different green for the front, because I have 3 dozen greens. And I figure we might as well switch it up, right? There we go. And I've come really close to actually getting this guy finished up. Let's add just a bit of color to underneath him here. It's funny, they call this sunflower, but it's like the perfect sand color. Or in this case, like a sandstone. There we go. Add my little hint of a color to the sky, and we'll be all done. So that is this one done, and I am excited to finally get this one done. But I will not be back on until Monday. So until then, I'll talk to you guys next time.